If we could all stand for the pledge. Sorry for the me being tardy. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, this is a work session meeting. Everyone have an agenda? Well, rather than, because we did start a little late, I will hold my announcements to the end of the presentation of Computer Mama?
Yeah,
Mama? Mama?
yeah.
Okay, regarding perhaps a new website for the village. So if we could address our attention to the TV, do you need the lights off?
No, if you can see the TV. All right.
Is everyone good seeing the TV?
Oh, there we go. My name's Tony Donato. I'm with Computer Mama. Computer Mama is a business that my wife started years ago. She repairs computers, and I've done websites for years. I'm actually, the name of my company is Fire Forums, but we're rolling into a website division of Computer Mama. So with that said, I'm proposing a website for the village of Washingtonville. It's a comprehensive partnered managed website, which means the responsibility of keeping the website updated is mine, but I'll teach anybody that the mayor designates to learn how to update the website. If you could send an email or use Microsoft Word, you're overqualified to update the website. It's very simple, it's very transparent. What we do, our staff is always available 24 hours a day for emergencies. My wife and I both live and breathe computers, although we do get some outside time. As you can see, I get plenty of exercise. The contacts for the website will always remain the same. You'll never call us and not get us. You'll never call us and hear, that's not my responsibility, he's not in. Where everybody at the other end of the phone that I give you is responsible for your website. So we're tech geeks, but we don't geek at you unless specifically requested. I can give you all the nuts and bolts and everything, or I could just tell you I'll build you a hell of a website. All right. The website is complete. I don't say you get 5 pages and then 6 months down the road you say, I need another page. And then I charge you $1,000 for it. That's not what happens. I sell you a website. A website is what you need to function. If your idea of a website is 1,000 pages, well, I guess I'm going to sweat like I am now and do a lot extra work. Everything's included. Whatever you need on your website is included. We don't charge for extras. That's a very key thing. Okay? We'll take care of your website. We'll host your email in a secure SSL environment, secure socket layer environment. It's encrypted email. We can maintain it as per the village's email policy, dictated by the village, of course, for records management and for transparency and whatnot. Whatever the village's policy is, we'll adhere to it. And our email's backed up. Every time an email hits the server, a new backup is made. So it's constantly backed up. Again, everything that we do for you on a website is included. We also make it mobile. Statistics show, I don't know where the statistics came from, but I've been hearing it, I've been living it. 60 to 80% of people browse the web on their mobile device, whether it be a tablet, their phone, or any other sort of mobile device, their car screen if they're connected, and like a Ford Fusion or something. As you can see, it looks nice on a big screen TV. A website will also look great on the smallest smartphone that you have. It's called a reactive website with elements and applications that are geared to mobile but work beautifully on a desktop. You could actually update the website from your phone once I train you how to do it. It's really, really simple. Mobile friendly is good. Again, all active reactive web pages. So it looks good on any device. So somebody can't say, oh, I didn't see that because it was not on my phone. whatnot. Okay, build it and they will come. Doesn't happen. I built plenty of great websites that people didn't want to do the marketing for whatever reason. They didn't want to spend the extra money or whatnot. It's included in this website. All the marketing and the social connections. With LinkedIn, because this is a business, it's good to be linked in. Facebook, which most people get their news from, whether it be false news or not, that's where you get your news from. So the correct presences for social media in Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn will be created, updated, or maintained, whatever the current status of your social media is. Social media is key to the success of a website. It alerts people to go to the website to check for further information. If you have new forms that have just been put up on the website, you can announce it. We have this going on. There's many reasons social media is good, because Facebook is a push notification. Twitter is a push notification. Push meaning they push it at you, they give it to you. You don't have to actively go there. You log into Facebook, if you're signed up for Washingtonville and there's an alert, it comes right in. You're there. You don't have to go to the website, you go to Facebook. And I'm sure most people in the room at least have a Facebook account or know somebody that does. Okay. We support you. I can't express my desire and want to be able to be here for you all the time. When somebody wants something from the website, there'll be a liaison appointed from the village. Not that anybody can't call, but the best way that it works is have a liaison. Normally it's village clerk or one of the trustees. Works better with the village clerk because that's their job during the day to get information around. Updates can be done from an email sent to me or to our business. Email updates can be done by anybody who can use email or Microsoft Word. Either one. Very simple, easy to train. Somebody in front of their computer, me in front of my computer, on the phone. 20 minutes later, you're updating the website. You could actually put me out of business. So we support you. We are there to support you. You're not going to get a busy signal. You're not going to get a, I'm not responsible. Okay, what you can expect out of your website is ease of use. Whether it's on your phone with a mobile action bar that you can click, it has all the links in it. You could just push a button and dial. It'll dial the right number. You can send an email, you can send a form mail, everything from your phone. The ease of use is great. Anybody you get on the other end of the phone for me, it's normally going to be me, but it's either me or my wife, are very capable to answer your questions. It's not going to be like, hold on, I'll have to have him call you back when he's done showering. Because after sweating like this, I'm going to need one. So, okay, so that's, we're looking to make this a partnered website. We're not going to develop it, design it, and then walk away and you call up for an important update on Monday and it's Friday and somebody gets back to you. Things get done right away. We're a full-time website and computer repair business. We don't have jobs outside of this, which is why I'm sweating. So there we go. Full disclosure, this is an important part. I've run into it over the years. I've been doing websites since 1996 for different businesses, including myself, way back when AOL was the coolest thing in the world. So with doing websites that long, I've run into redos of websites, kind of like this. I find out that no information was passed from the previous vendor so far as usernames, passwords, domain addresses, many different things that will throw a monkey wrench into transition from one website company, if you're unhappy with me, should I get the job, and move along. You'll have full disclosure of all your usernames, passwords, and by the time I wear out my welcome, which I hope to never do, you'll know how to operate your website and what all the usernames and passwords are for. If something gets changed, I update it so you have a list, so you don't have to panic and run out and try to track me down or whatever. For whatever reason, it's your website, so full disclosure on all the permissions on it. And one of the biggest things is a team approach. I do have programmers that aren't in my family. I do have other team members that I have that I give work out to. But I'm responsible for all the work on the website. I do 99% of the work. I don't do database entries because my wife is a corporately trained typist and she flies on database entry. So, and anything else that we need to farm out is just the hosting is on a farm, the email is on a farm, but it's all secure. And it's geodiverse located, which is a geek term for I got one there in New York, I got one in Miami, I got one in Phoenix, and I got one in LA. And all your records are backed up in those because geodiversity, in case a grid goes down, make sure that you have the most current copy of your website available for viewing. So that's a geodiverse environment. Let's see, where we start. We get the information on the current website. Actually, we're going to try, we'll get rid of the current website. We'll put up a basic website with the current information and how to make contacts, because the current website that I viewed last wasn't updated. Joe's not even the mayor. So we'll get everything updated and make sure that the important documents and things that need to be up there are up right away. We don't expect the website development to take that long. If I had a shoebox of everything I needed to build your website, I could have your website done in less than a week. All right, so that shoebox, keep it in mind, is how long your website's going to take. If the shoebox gets filled little by little, it'll take a little bit longer.
Saturday I became the mayor.
You did?
Yeah, it's past Saturday.
Oh, you did? Very
Birthday
good.
Saturday.
I haven't visited the website since I made the proposal, so. Okay, great, congratulations, Joe.
Thank you.
Okay, also we're going to start the social media campaign right away if we're contracted with. Getting the information out, I mean, I know this isn't half the population of Washingtonville. I used to coach football here a long time ago. So everybody can see what's going on with the web. So everybody has an idea of where we're headed with the website, what's going to be available. Transparency in government is a key and very positive word these days. So what you need to see, you'll be able to see it on the website. There's hopefully in the future, there's plans to move along to be able to put live video from village board meetings. That was a proposed thing. I'm not speaking for any of the village board when I say that, but other websites that have been created do that, so people that are shut in or can't come out, or maybe the weather's bad, can still see a meeting and be part of the action. All right, because we need to move along, the website structure is thus. Trustees, I have on the table for you a proposal which is really eyes only for the trustees and your board. There's also cards, and there's a couple of packets of covers of some of the websites we did just for you guys to look at. It makes some good writing. You can flip it over and use it for scratch paper later. But basically what it is, homepage, departments for every one of the departments and municipal boards, planning, zoning, building department, police department, and we'll talk with each one of the department heads based on the board's want for how we're going to operate. But in a perfect environment, we would let each department be in charge of some of the items that go up on the website. You know, of course, the approval process is what you folks set, which department heads would have what levity to do whatever they wanted to do. Flexibility, excuse me, to do whatever they wanted to do. And that's my job. I'll speak with your village historian. Washingtonville is one of the oldest villages in Orange County. We should have a ton of stuff up on the website to see. If there's things that need to be digitized, old films, old videos, that can happen, photographs scanned. We can work with your historian to make sure that Washingtonville's history is respectively portrayed on the website. The rest of this is, I mean, you can see what it is. We have a village hall which has everything, including every form you need. We'll take them, we'll digitize them. We're not just going to make them downloadable, we're going to make them online fillable. So you can fill out the form online, so Joe Schmo doesn't have good handwriting, but Peggy does. But you can't tell because her cursive is so sweet. So this is all typing. The forms that are filled out are going to be easier because they're online, although they are printable for people that want to use ink or pencil. They're online fillable, they're online printable, and depending on the board's wishes, can be emailable. So we're saving paper, and a form filled out online can be either printed or emailed directly to whichever recipient is designated by the board. Other pages include, of course, Village Hall, Mayor's Desk, for Joe to put up there whatever he wants, pictures of the grandkids or the dogs running around, or, important stuff, whatever you would expect from a mayor's desk. Board of Trustees with contact information. I'm an amateur hack photographer. I do pretty good work. I'll take pictures of all you guys when you're all purdied up for the night, and you, ma'am, as well. I can take pictures of all of you. I've done some pretty good work. So we get you up there so people can recognize you when they're walking down the street and bow as you walk by, or shake your hand, or throw tomatoes, whatever the current political flavor is. We'll have a news archive. Sometimes news is timely, but it's also good to refer back to some of the news that was put up. You're trying to explain something to somebody, and it was a news flash that was up there 5 months ago. There'll be an archive of all the news. The web is so inexpensive these days that we never have to delete news unless it's only timely. It's like Santa's coming on the fire truck tonight. And that could be deleted after he gets here. Contact page, of course. Somebody will be able to contact you from the contact page with radio button drop-downs. Having everybody who is in village government's contact information so they can simply fill out a form. Sometimes writing a cold email and trying to come up with the words and who to send it to may be a little tough. You go right to a form, you fill it out, name, subject, comments, address it to whoever you want, and it's delivered properly to that person electronically. Just great email. Every page has safe surfing links for parents that are concerned about what their children look out on the web. We'll have the safe surf links are where you can download free programs to protect your children. It's just a good public relations thing. It's also very good to have. You'll have your copyrights, legal disclaimers, and everything in terms of service, privacy policy, everything that's dictated by your internet usage policy. If you don't have one already, I have boilerplate ones that are available for your legal team to look at to make sure that they're up to your standards and wants and needs. Where we go from here, if you were to say, Tony, we're ready to do the website. We sign the agreement, we appoint the liaison, we have a project conference with the liaison, we create a punch list, which is very important. It's me telling you what I need to build your website. It's the list that fills the shoebox. Okay? That's very important, because you can also say, oh, Tony, you said you'd have this done if I gave you that. And I said, oh, you're right, I forgot to do that. And we do it, and we cross it off the punch list, and we get it done. It's so there's no expectations that aren't being met, and there's no requests that aren't being filled. It's the best way to do it, if we have a list to work from. Punch list creation, basic info request filled, new rebranded website creation approved, launched, social media campaign starts. I know I'm going a little fast, but I got to get through this in a few minutes. All these things are just a basic good workflow for creating a website. I've done many before. I'll work whichever way you folks want to work, but this is a very good flow of work for a website. Okay, some of the website I designed. This is my most recent, and I really like it because I shot the photo, photoshopped the company name on the license plate, created and branded his own logo. He's actually a Washingtonville business, just opened up. Polished Ride. Monroe Joint Fire District, a municipal type website. It has much of some of the things that you'll have on there. Meeting minutes, agendas before the meeting, different things that are required by law. Some villages, you'll have to talk with your attorney for this, can adopt the website as a formal form of communication for your legal notices and whatnot. So, like, I don't know, I'm sure, what is it, the Chronicle is over here? Is that the local?
Orange County Post.
Orange County Post. So that's one of yours, I'm sure the Record, or whichever ones you have adopted. You can also adopt the website as another legal form of posting legal communications, which is kind of a cool thing. Warwick Car Wash, this is pretty much just a, hey, look how cool I am, I made these. These are some of the over 2,000 websites that I've either done or had part of since 1996. I actually did a Washingtonville website back when some old guy was a mayor here a long time ago. don't know how he's doing, but he was pretty old at the time, so he's ancient right now. I do a lot of fire department websites. I was referring to past Mayor DeVenko over here. So,
Keep it up, buddy. You got your job.
yeah, whatever. I do a lot of fire department websites because I'm a volunteer fireman. I'm also the big red guy that rides in on Washingtonville's ladder for Santa. Yeah, I'm your Santa. I hope I didn't ruin anybody's thought. Just remember, to all of you, I am Santa because I talk to the real Santa. I go out in the field and find all the info for him. Doesn't have time to run around all the places.
Say it ain't so.
It's true. It's true. I'm sorry. So I do a lot of fire department websites. I did Salisbury Mills as well. Extreme Concrete. Just again, these are look how cool I am. Tiny little website. I think she has 8 rooms at the Walton Motel. This is up in Walton, New York, around that area, and she gets probably 200 reservation requests a week. So I don't know if she's going to expand or if she's just really happy with her tiny little place, but it's kind of cool. Giant Games, another just launched website. Lady lives up on Salzburg Lane. She does Giant Games, if you're familiar with beer pong. She has pong with big giant garbage cans and you pop a volleyball into it instead. It's a lot of fun. She has a bunch of different cool giant games. But again, mobile ready websites. Every one of the websites you're seeing are mobile ready. They will appear as pretty on a big screen as they will on your tiny little phone. Ancient Order of the Hibernians down in Monroe. Anybody Division I member down in Monroe? No? Wow, they got like 8,000 members, or well, a bunch at least. So there's Salisbury Mills Fire Department website. It's as updated as you folks want to keep a website. I will update your website every hour on the hour if you send me an update. If you don't send me an update for 6 months, I'll be sending you an email once a week saying there's no updates in 6 months. So I kind of control your project so far as keeping it live, keeping it going. I don't hide in the background and wait for you guys to come to me. If I haven't seen an update in a week, 2 weeks, I know that there's some disconnect. Maybe somebody sent an email and typed Tony with an I instead of a Y, or for whatever reason, but I'll keep the project going. I'll reach out to Christine, your village clerk, and ask, do we have any updates going on? Did I miss something? So we just keep everything fresh and fluid. Reflections, they make pools, the nice gunite shot pools with the waterfalls and all that. Video usage, Goshen Car Wash, logo creation, website design, Greenwood Lake Fire Department, that's where I started 30 years ago as a fireman, and now I'm over in Chester. Another website, Woodbury EMS. So that's it for my presentation. I'm ready to start whenever you guys are. That's all. Thank you very much for your time. Any questions?
The one question now, are we able to show a meeting live on the website?
Yes.
Or-
Absolutely. I was just looking around the room while I was sitting here. You have surveillance cameras, or, whatever you want to call them. I call them surveillance cameras. If that shows enough in here, put me on to your guy who did these, and we can interface because they're all IP-based, or at least they go into a computer. We can break it out and send up the signal to the website, create a portal, click, boom, you're watching a live meeting. And you didn't really spend anything on equipment. We can also, this is a hard drive camcorder,
Yeah,
USB.
it's actually a SD.
All right, cool. All right, so there's no USB output or video
It does,
output?
yeah.
You can use an item like this, an inexpensive camera. You can use an IP camera, which is pretty much wireless to your router, and here, sitting on the table, one over there, one over there. Again, we could tie into the system. There's many different ways to show live video, but yes, whatever way you can create a video, as long as it's not on 8mm film, we're good to go. Any other questions? Sir?
Yeah, my question is, can you archive? You said you could basically, I think it's great that you could type in on your forms, but can you archive incident reports and make them searchable? That's the next one.
They could be. but I don't think that's within the scope of this website. Incident reports for what, sir?
Well, usually if you have a problem, you send an incident report, and basically then you can track it then, how people have, basically responded to it, have other people made the same complaints or whatever, and,
Can I
I'll
answer
let-
that, Tony?
I'll let trustee Domingo.
That's a great question, and it's a segue into our next presentation. I'll introduce you to Dana, who will be showing us this issue track system. And yes, there could be a portal on our website that a resident could, in fact, enter in whatever the complaint happens to be. And she'll go through that and explain the whole system.
okay, thank you.
But also, I think you mentioned that you can download, upload.
Yeah, for any form that you need, it could be downloaded and printed, it could be filled, downloaded and printed, it can be filled and sent electronically, and you can also store a copy, save it to a PDF version. Also, there's the code, you on your
The
current...
E-code, yeah.
Your
which is-
E-code with interface with that. We can interface with anything that has an API type environment for interfacing with a website, simple code insertion. Sir?
What kind of security measures do you put in place so the website doesn't get hacked?
All the websites are up, all the components of the website are on HTTPS servers. They're secure servers. That's about as solid as the security goes. There's not really a lot more to do.
What about the security from your staff, though, for confidential material for the village? How does that, like, if your staff is able to see emails or anything?
We're not able,
village-related,
we're not able to see the emails. We can only see the email accounts. We set up a password for a default password for all the users, and the first login, they go and change it. We can't even recover their passwords. If we had to, we'd have to set a new password. So that gives a layer of security, because we can't log in, because then they'll go to say it was the mayor's account. If we logged in by changing his password, next time he went, his password wouldn't work, and he'd know that his account was compromised. He could see that we possibly read emails. If we left a breadcrumb trail of clicking and making it red, and he says, wait a minute, I never read that email. So that's security from that. And all the emails are SSL encrypted and encrypted as well, with 128-bit encryption. So the emails traveling through cyberspace can't be compromised, and the website, again, is secure as well. Other questions? I hope I answered your question.
Tony,
Yes, sir.
you're the bread and butter of your operation, obviously.
I am.
What kind of succession planning do you have in place, heaven forbid something should happen with you?
Well, my wife is completely capable of doing everything that I do. I'm going to train your staff in how to do it, how to work on the website, the village board staff, on how to work on the website. They'll have all the usernames and passwords for everything. Should I unfortunately perish from this earth, you'll have very many ways to get into the website. And again, being able to send an email. If you had to walk in and you were computer savvy, you could send an email and work in Microsoft Word. You can jump into the website with the proper username and password, and within 20 minutes, if you're of normal intelligence, you can rebuild the website completely.
Another question is, you mentioned that you're available pretty much 24/7 for updates if we wanted every hour on the hour. So what's the pricing as far as putting the website in? I mean, if we peppered you every hour on the hour, 24/7, is that a price per incident? Is that what?
No,
is it-
it's all included.
You just charge a flat fee?
That's correct.
So how do you make any money then if you're available 24/7 and we literally gave you updates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year? How do you make any money?
There is something called reasonable assumption. Reasonable assumption is a municipal website and what would be included in it. There is, of course, the ridiculous amounts of things, and if I've priced myself out of the ballpark, it's my problem. If I charged you $1 to pick up a piece of trash off the floor, and you said you pick up all the trash, and I ended up cleaning up the village, my bad for making the decision to go that way. I keep everything included, and I do truly mean, we are always available, and we will update everything you need. And there is reasonable assumption for how much work should be done, but we don't stop. If you keep updating every hour, we keep updating every hour. Of course, we may not want to renew the contract the next year, but which is reasonable. Sure, sir.
Well, it's reasonable, but it's also in your presentation, you're offering that service.
Absolutely. We would absolutely be available for any updates that are needed, always. We're not going to go 6 months in and say, you know, you guys have been beating us up. We have to renegotiate. That's not how we do. You know, if we find out that the service that we proposed was too much for the price that we gave on the next contract, we would try to renegotiate. But our price is our price for the year.
Yeah, but it's, if you're negotiating a contract for say 1 year, and we pepper you, and then, you know, at the end of that year, you know, you could leave us hanging, and we have to start from square one. I mean, it's, you know, you can say, oh, well, we'll charge you $100 to get our foot in the door. You get your foot in the door, and we take you up on your offer, and then, you know, a year later, where, you know, we have to renegotiate or look somewhere else.
Very true. I'm not looking to run out on you guys. I'm not expecting that I'm going to get an update every hour. Once the website is up and running, there's going to be normal updates. This is not my first rodeo. I've done many municipal websites before. I know what to expect. If I have to do a buttload of work, I've charged my price, and the buttload of work is on me to do. I'm not looking to cut and run or come next year and say, oh, that website I sold to you for X is now going to be XXX, or I'm running away. That's not how I do business. I've been doing business for many years in the county. I come highly recommended. And yeah, it's a great question. It really is. It puts somebody on the spot. But think about it. Sir,
What if you know Microsoft Word, you have Apache Open Office or Libra?
can you type on a computer?
Not very well, but yes.
Do you know how to format a letter?
Could do that, or I could get the form itself.
Well, there you go.
Okay, so it's not going to be blocked, in other words.
No. I'm saying skill levels. If you have the skill
Okay.
level to be able to
Okay.
use. I mean,
I'm not
if
taking
you,
any more time.
I remember Lotus.
Yeah, I do too. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Thanks,
Thank
Tony.
you. I failed to mention there's coffee in the back. I can't drink it all. I'm gonna get some.
Okay to continue?
Yes,
All right.
and there's water.
So, I have Dana on the phone, I'm just gonna put her on speaker. She's, I think, in Virginia. And so, the segue conversation that we had before was basically about an issue tracking application, and that's what this is all about. Currently, we're, as we mentioned at our last meeting, we're a paper process, and as we know, paper basically most of the time can disappear. Communication between one department to the person handling the issue can at times be difficult at best, right? So at the end of the day, this, hopefully, when you see this application, you'll come away with a feeling, as I've been watching this application, that you can put the information in, you can follow it as things occur. You put your email in, you'll get an email to know exactly where things are as the ticket is progressing through the system to the point it gets closed. So without further ado, I'll put Dana on, and she can do her introduction, and we'll take it from there. Okay? And no, we can ask some questions to you at the end. All right, Dana, hang on a second. Okay, Dana, you're on.
All right, well, good evening. It's Dana with Track, and I'm here to show you the issue track application. It's a 100% web-based application, so you can access this for anywhere you have an internet connection. Now, there are multiple ways for the system to receive a ticket. One would be through incoming email. So if you have a functioning email box set up, we can configure the software to receive that email and create a ticket automatically. The other way would be through completing a web form if you have a web form on your website, this is just an example of a web form that I've set up. You can have as many fields on this form as you need. Folks can complete the necessary areas. You can have drop-down values. And as soon as they complete the necessary areas and click the send button on your web form, the software can receive that email, it can receive that web form and create it in the system. The third way would be for folks to log into the system, and your employees can submit on behalf of a resident or a resident to log into the system. I'm going to log in as an employee. And for this user, I've made their home page the submit issue button. We can communicate a broadcast message prior to folks logging in. We can call the application anything we want. You can remove the issue track branding and include your own logos and information. And here's an example of what a submission form can look like. You will be able to customize these forms so that you're gathering all of the information that you need to resolve the request. You can add additional fields, you can reposition fields, you can have yes, no questions, green text, whatever you need. And when you add a field, you can determine if you want it to be required for them to submit the issue. And we can change this to read ticket or request, whatever you all want. So they'll make their selection for the issue type. We can have drop-down values. They can include the resident's name. I'm going to just call her Amy Smith. She can include her address. Especially, I think I used this one before. Phone number. And then they just put a title of their request. That's what's required in the subject line. So it could be and then the full description. And that just allows folks to provide you with additional information. The full description can include videos, hyperlinks, or images, and folks can include attachments as well. It'll just provide you with some supporting information. Broken. And again, they complete the necessary areas and they click the submit button. It's at the bottom and at the top. And what happens is the software, number one, is going to assign this request a sequential tracking number. It can send a confirmation to the resident. It can also send a confirmation email to whoever might have a goal on resolving this request. Any questions about how we would submit an issue and issue track?
Any questions? Did you so basically, the resident would be putting in their basic information, their name, their address, their email address, and basically a description of the problem. There's a drop-down window so you could pick, I don't know, water problem or a sewer problem or pothole, X, Y, and Z. You would put that in the description and then you do the submit and it's creating a ticket. So go ahead, Danny, you can continue.
Well, this would be on a website?
Yes, this would be a web product, correct? So anybody from the website, from our website to a portal, or you come in, rather than writing down, sitting down and writing it out on paper, we could put a computer there. Someone wants to lodge, a complaint about something, could sit down, fill out this form, press it, and it gets a ticket number, and it gets emailed to us. Go ahead, Dan.
Okay. So I'm going to log out now, and I'm going to log in and remember with a little bit more permission. So I type that person out pretty tight. And I'll show you a couple of things that are happening behind the scenes. So for this user, I've made their home page to my issue screen. This is probably what you would want to set up the home page for anyone that's going to be assigned an issue to resolved. So your public works department, the police department, folks that are going to be resolved requests, they're probably going to want to come in and take a look at this screen because it shows how many issues are assigned to them. So they can go ahead and start working, they can add notes to kind of note what they've done to resolve the issue. And it's going to date and timestamp it as well. So we know who updated which record or this ticket, who actually began working on it, and it's date and time so we can report on it and have an audit trail. We also have a dashboard, and the dashboard is reflective of all open issues in the software. So this will be a high-level management overview. You can see what's open in the system, and then you can see that information filtered by the issue type, so the types of requests that we might have. Like for received, it's like an other example of how to use the software. But work orders that might be in the software might need to be submitted. And then we can break it down by assignee. So we can actually see who's assigned a request. We can click on these bars, graphs, and we can get specific information. So we can see things like last activity, it's going to be date and time stamp, the issue type, and the actual subtype, priority value. And we might not want to let the residents select their own priority values. We may want to have some folks within the organization for that, because everyone's going to look at the critical issues. We can see the subject, who is assigned to, and assignment can be to a group or a specific person, who submitted the request, when it was submitted, and then it's date and timestamp. We have a status, we have a sub-status, and we actually have the ticket number. If there were a paperclip on the left-hand panel, that would indicate that there was an attachment to the issue, someone had maybe taken a picture. And if there was a red E on the left-hand panel, that would indicate that there was an escalation rule. So with issue track, we can set some automation in the software. So if something's been sitting idle for too long, that perhaps public works hasn't addressed the issue, we can set an escalation rule to remind us to address the issue. And that can all be automated behind the scenes, so no one has to go back behind them to remind them to do things. We'll set that automation in the beginning when you configure the software on the actual number, and we can get that same specific information. Another reporting tool we have is our search issues tool. So should a resident call and say, hey, I submitted a request, I wanted to know the status, we can come to this page, search issues, and this brings up all of the fields that you have active in issue track, including any user-defined fields that you may add. So any fields that you may add to software, all of that can be searched. Resident information can be searched. User information can be searched. Date and time stamp. Everything that's entered in the software can be pulled into a report and searched. So we'll just do a quick search here, and this will bring us back that issue. We can click on it and we can get specific information and update her on the status. Set some automation to update the sub-status values as well, so that we're giving updates to the resident and or folks that are logging into the system to check on the status of something throughout the entire life cycle of it. We also have the report section of the software. If you save any of these searches, they're always going to be available to you. We've got summary reports that will show on the screen if we wanted to see what issues were open last year. Software can pull that up, we can drill down into these and get specific information. And then we've got the report writer. Report writer allows us to build a query, and then we can, from that query, create reports. And we'll teach you all how to do this in the system. Once you create a report, you can set scheduled reports. So in my my demo example here. The software is going to create this report every Monday in Excel, or it can be in HTML, and it will email it to whoever I add to this distribution list. Should you log into the system and once your report, you can navigate through your left-hand navigation panel, but you can also click on this tab, and it'll bring up all the reports that you've created and any that have been shared with you. Any questions about the application?
I would just be curious, would the public be able to see everything she just showed us, or would we be able to just put our complaint in? Would you know how many other people have the same complaint? Is that open to
Okay.
anybody, or is
Yeah,
it inter-office? It seems like it should be inter-office only. You know?
Yeah, Dana.
So what we can do is we can partition what the public is allowed to see in the software from their user record. And we can set groups of users as well. So when you configure the software, we're going to walk you through setting permission values. You'll tell us what values these people should have in the system. And then we'll just select these check marks or deselect the check marks to determine what they can see and do in the software. So we can partition their views so that they're only allowed to see their own.
On, I still have some left to do, 8 left. Basically, they come into about 4 different categories. People that had estimated bills, and they caught up to estimated bills since 2015, and now they get an actual reading. So they're getting a big bill, but they caught up to them. They couldn't get into the yards. Fences were locked. I had people telling me that they could, we could make an appointment so you can get in. I said that's not possible. The guys are on a route. They go out, they read the meters. It's 1,800 meters. Even if we had 200 people that wanted to, do appointments, it's not going to happen. So some cases they have to move the slave reader outside where they can read the meter outside that gate. The other thing is multiplier changes. People, like in 2013, there were a lot of meters changed, and the old meters were 100 multipliers, the new meters 1,000 multipliers. It was never changed in the system. And again, somebody was getting a bill for 3,900 gallons of water when it should have been 39,000 gallons of water. So we're not going back to recoup that money back to 2013. Chris has been updating the system with the new meters. When they put the new meters in, he's updating the multipliers, usually around July or August, July or October of 2016. He's been updating the multipliers. So when people then started getting bills, they started getting billed realistically. They were getting billed for 3,900 gallons, charged for 7,000 minimum, but now they're getting charged for 39,000, which is what they use. The other group of people kind of just got on a bandwagon. Let me throw in an incident report because my bill's too high. Sometimes and some of those people, there were input errors. There was, maybe there was one we had where it was the input error was the same as the reading was the same as last time, so it showed 0 usage. Now, as a resident, I look at my bill and I read my bill. I read your bill, and it says 0 usage, so I'm paying 7,000 gallons minimum. So the next bill, he got the actual reading, and it was put in correctly. That water still went through the meter, but he didn't get. He paid, the basic $74 on that bill, but now his normal bill over the last 5 quarters is about $215. And he gets a bill for $74, doesn't think anything of it, I guess, if he's like a miracle. And now it comes back to catch up to him where he gets a bill for $300. So that's the balance of that. So you got people like that. And some people are using water. Some people just use water and don't realize or don't want to admit that they're using water. And the bills are going, they're using the water, or they have leaks. And if they don't, maybe they don't want to admit they have leaks, they don't want to look for leaks, they don't want to. So those are the things. I'm not going to go over every one that I have one by one. We'd be here till forever. Spindler, for one, is something that we have to address. I told you they have a slow meter. every time I see a 3,000 gallon tanker truck coming out of Spindler now, I start jumping and pounding on the dashboard. Because they get billed at $6 a gallon on that 1 meter. The meter is it's running slow. They told us it was running slow. They do want to replace their shut-off valve. So we were thinking, hoping, as I mentioned to you, that when they do the shut-off valve, the meter would cost us $1,300, the meter itself, because they can't get parts for the meter that's there. So the meter has to be replaced. When they do the shut-off valve, which is their expense, maybe we can go in on the labor to replace for the same guy to replace the meter, the meter that's there. Huh?
Big meter.
It's a big meter, it's the one that they use to fill a truck. They have 2 meters, they have one for the office, and then this one.
It was $1,300?
$1,309 plus labor to put it in. So that's something that has to be addressed. There are some people that we do owe money to, and I guess at the next meeting I would bring it up as a resolution. Moffett Ridge Association, for one, he was paying the undeveloped lot fee of $118.33 for 5 lots, $591.65 he was paid, and as he sold the lots, he continued to pay the $591.67. One lot was sold on 11/6/15, one was sold on 8/15/16, 3 more on 11/15/16. So those lots dropped off. It should have been dropped to $118.33, but he continued to pay $591.67. So that's money that we're going to
Where were those lots?
Moffett up on Regal Homes, the new ones.
Oh, the new ones, okay. Highview.
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 So 131.15, he had a balance of 591.67. Should have been taken off 5 Moffett sold on 11/6/15, then 11 Moffett sold. Basically, what we owe him is $1,064.99. And you have, from now to next meeting, you can check my numbers and see what my numbers, Chris's numbers, and see what you have here, what we do owe him the money.
Are the new people paying their bills?
No, what do you mean? I didn't even get into the new people paying their bill. Look, this is what we owe him. This is just another custom. He just continued to pay that, at the addition of the $118.33 for the lots as they sold when he shouldn't have. Going into the library, they have been paying. And again, I asked people how long they've been here. I spoke to, they have been paying a facility charge 6 times the facility charge. Apparently, back in the day, speaking to town historians, village historians, there were houses behind the library, and there were additional hookups back there that they no longer use. They do hook up one. I understand that the carriage house that's back there, they might want to put water in, but when they do that, there would be an additional facility fee. But right now, they're paying for 6 facility fees. They should only be paying for 1. So that's another one that we owe some money to.
How long has that gone back?
Maria, when I talked to Maria, she doesn't know. Maria Soltis, she doesn't know. She's only been, I asked how long, I thought she's been there a long time, only like 3 years.
So since January?
It's in January 2012, yeah. I mean, the bills that we have that go back, so from January 2012, the facility fee in 2012 was $10, so they paid an additional 5 facility fees times 10, times 4 is $200. And then in 2014, January went up to $15 for a facility fee. So now you're at $300, so that's a total of $1,300. And why these things weren't addressed before now, I don't know.
That's from the houses that they own,
Yeah.
that they purchased.
Yeah,
So
but
there
they're not,
was-
if they're not hooked up.
Well, there was apartments in those houses, so
Yeah.
when those houses were demoed, then
Did anybody submit something to the village that had changed?
Yeah, I don't know, those two houses.
this.
I don't think you're
because they were
responsible if they didn't
apartment
tell
houses.
you they were,
So the
taking it
apartment
out.
houses were paid per
from both cases.
apartment on
How long
facility.
ago were they demoed? Maybe I shouldn't ask.
I would say, I'm 12, 13,
13, maybe.
12, 13.
Years?
No,
No,
2012,
Oh,
2012.
Well, that's what I got from 2012.
because they.
So after they were demoed, they should have reduced the facility.
Then what should have happened is when that was demoed and taken offline and the meter turned in, then it should have been taken off the books.
Maybe the meter was never turned in.
I'm sure it was, I'm not sure. I don't
The other
know.
question with the other question with the library, and they probably don't use more than that, is they're charged a flat rate. I don't know why, and I
You
don't
gotta
know.
remember, that was the town of Blooming Grove's building. That was not.
Why was it charged a flat rate?
I have no idea why they
Okay,
were
that
charged
was,
a flat
that was,
rate.
that was only what I
That
said
was
was,
the town of Blooming Grove's building.
they were charged a flat rate for the water that we were selling, or they still are charged a flat rate. When I asked how long, she didn't know how long. So I told her, we have to start reading the meter. And I asked Chris, his opportunity to get a slave to outside that building while they're doing construction, so we can read the meter, and she agreed with that. She said, yeah, it does have to be, for anything else, we can determine if there's a leak in the library. You know, we can see how much water we use as a village, and if they do have a leak, we can see the usage.
I think what the village has to do is find out when actually the Moffett Library Committee or whatever took over that building. Because the town of Blooming Grove owned that.
That was
That's
before
the town of Blooming
2011,
Grove.
though.
But they would still be required to pay the regular water rate that we'll all pay.
Yes. What's the difference?
Joe, can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Maybe the village needs to adopt a policy stipulating that changes like this, the responsibility for reporting it falls to the property owner, rather than village having to go and Mr. Lang having to go back 20 years and saying, this is messed up. This way, you put the onus on the property owner, and if they don't report it, too bad.
Yeah, and I think too, to add on that, I think a lot of times, and Chris, correct me here, but a house goes in foreclosure or something, people move, we get a call to go there and shut their water off. We make the notations in the system, right? Huh?
We don't get a call or something or off.
Why?
Homeowner just walks away.
Well, okay, in that case, well, yeah, but I'm saying the bank owns, at some point, when you get a phone call, or if someone's selling a house, right, you get the phone call to say, listen, John's moving, Pete's coming, and we have to, do a final reading so they can get through the closing.
Right.
Right, so we have at least a starting point, so, and those two houses that came down, I mean, we know that there was nobody in those homes for a while. We probably, I would assume, had shut the water off in the street to those homes at some point, because there was no way that guy was gonna winterize anything, they were coming down, and at that point, they belonged to the library.
Which belongs to the school district.
Yeah, the school district, right.
Yeah, I had 2 points. Number one, you should be able to read the meter, because contractors.
We will be able to read the meter.
Yeah, the reason why contractors certainly know there's water there and they'll connect to it. And if you're not reading it, the contractors are using that water. And you guys, the second thing, you were talking about Spindler. I thought Spindler got most of his water from his own well, isn't that the case?
Does both.
He's got a deep well there.
He uses both.
Both.
He uses both, okay.
Yeah, as far as, what you just said, the school district doesn't own the library. It's a school district library. School district does not own it.
Oh, I thought it was transferred to the schools, okay.
So that's gotta get taken care of. That's,
Yeah.
we can go back and look, but regardless of when, if they demoed the buildings in 2012, I'll find out when they did that, or if they have records on that. There's not a whole lot of records in this village, though, I want to tell you that right now.
So if we want to,
Shouldn't there be a permit for when they took the building down?
That'll be an easy fine. I mean, if we're talking about 2012, because that's what I have here for bills where they were being charged. And those, I've been here since, I don't remember the buildings there, that, you know, when they demoed. I do remember them taking them down, I don't remember exactly when. But we find that out, then we're gonna go back to them, and that's what we're gonna owe them on fire facility charges.
But are we sure that they terminated the service legally? Say, I want my water shut off?
well, that's part of the demolition.
Not all
My
the
guess
time.
is that would be part of that paperwork.
It's
Good
an
question.
It's an added procedure, though.
Yeah. As far as replacing the meter at Spindler, should we look for outside contractors or
Yeah.
not to put you?
Is the homeowner responsible for the cost of the
They
meter
should
in the
hire-
house?
they should-
Why is Spindler
They want
against
to
it?
provide-
Oh, no, not the
They
meter.
wanna change
No, we
their
do the meter.
shut-off
I had to
valve.
replace the meter, I had to pay for it.
Let them hire their, get their
I
plumber,
paid
get a
that,
price.
it's quite a few years ago, it was $35.
Just meter.
Okay, should we be purchasing the meter?
Everyone's losing out money, they're not. So, that's up to you guys.
Well, okay.
They said there's no parts to be got to the meters.
No, the meter has to be replaced. The question is, do we do it as a village, or do we have the owner hire the contractors to replace it? And if that's the case, do we provide the meter? We want to make sure that the meter that they're using is going to be,
The
Well,
meter,
yeah, well, if the village resident was asked to replace a meter, who would that cost
the
for?
village.
All in the village.
It's a little different, because the meter for a household is only like $140, this meter is $1,300.
Yeah, but they're using, well, the amount of water they're using is equal to the size of the meter. I did have to pay for my meter when it was replaced. And I had to get Hacks to replace it, and the village sold me the meter.
In most commercial establishments, the commercial has to pay for the meter.
So then we should put a date that his meter has to be fixed because it's costing us money.
If we're losing,
We can spec the meter out and tell them what we want, but in most commercial establishments, they have to pay for the meter.
Okay. So that's should, let's see.
you have to look at your water ordinance, see what your water ordinance
Okay.
says. Commercial, pay for their own meters. We were supplying meters up to 1 inch. Anything over 1 inch, then it was the responsibility of the commercial, because you don't have anything bigger than a 1 inch meter in a regular house. The only time that the village replaced the meter in there, if it was broken, stopped working, then the village replaced the meter. If the meter froze, and the homeowner paid for the meter because it's the homeowner's responsibility to prevent the meter from freezing. So that's usually.
So I want you guys to let me start calling these people tomorrow, but like I said, each one is different, you know, they're over each one, but I just, you know, I'll call up each resident that I have
Go
done,
with individual.
start tomorrow and
resolutions.
explain to them either it's, like I said, estimated bills or whatever. The other one that you found down on Main Street, that I wanted to talk to you before the meeting on, the one that has a septic. We were looking in the code today, and it says the owner of any property used for human occupancy, employment, recreation, commerce, industry, or other public purpose which abuts any street or right of way in which there is located a public sanitary sewer in the village of Washingtonville, is hereby required at his expense to connect to his plumbing facilities directly to public sanitary sewer. The exception to this is if the residence provided that such sewer is within 150 feet of a building. So now, I'm going to defer to the attorney on this because I don't know that that building is 150 feet back. I've heard that somebody's getting me some information on a lawsuit, and I talked to the resident on Saturday. They didn't remember anything about a lawsuit.
Now, is it the building or where
It says,
exits the building.
no, it says the building, it says it's provided that such public sewer is within 150 feet of a building containing the plumbing facilities. So that's on the connection to a municipal sewer is required. This person has not one but two septic tanks, and they do get them serviced, but, you know, I didn't think they would have bills, but they got bills that they got them serviced. $892 for two 1,000 gallon tanks. So they are using the septic system, and this last bill they were charged a sewer bill, sewer use. No, not just facilities, sewer too, 150% of the water. Chris took it off over that bill, and we have to still straighten out what we're gonna owe that person, if anything. But like I said, I would defer to the lawyer, because we'd have to find out where the building is situated and get more information on this possible lawsuit that was in the past that we don't have any records on. If I can get some information from the people involved, we'll look into that, and again, give it to the attorney.
And that building could be 150 feet. And maybe
There
that's.
was
why
an
they-
incident on there, and I remember the incident, and I remember getting subpoenaed to go to a lawyer's office in Newburgh. And they are more than 150 feet away.
So they're not required.
So they're exempt from hooking into the sewer. They wanted to hook into the sewer, and they did hook into the sewer behind their building into Colonial Gardens Medical. Then there was a big discrepancy between the two owners, between Moby and Jordan Dimitri, or whatever his last name was, that owned Colonial Gardens. And then Colonial Gardens made him take out the line. So they probably, where you see the receipt for the two tanks, was probably that same time frame. I don't know when.
No, these were just done now.
Just done now?
The cleaning of the tank.
Oh, clean?
Yeah, cleaning.
Oh.
No, I had asked if they made, I wanted to see a receipt that they used them, to show that they used the septic system. And they just, she showed, you know, it was from
There
April.
was some, I don't remember what year it was or anything.
Well, I mean, that's something I think we have to find out before we,
I think the former attorneys should have all that information.
Yeah, one more thing, if somebody has to in this situation, or say they don't have to, but if they do have to hook up, then normally, at least in Rockland, I don't know what the policy is in Washingtonville, but normally they have to yank those septic tanks. Some places allow to fill them in, that's a decision, I don't know what the code has, but normally the practical matter is they gotta yank them.
well, that's if they do have to, but we're understanding that they don't have to. in this
I know, what
case.
I'm saying, yeah, the situation comes up again, you ought to have it clear what your policy is, whether they have to yank them.
I don't think there's many more, how many more septic tanks are in the village, other than that?
Cardinal Drive,
Cardinal Drive.
That's it. That should be it.
Yeah, okay.
Well, it's just because there's no facility over there.
What's that?
There's no facility over there.
Right. Well,
Okay, so,
and the other thing with that goes back to that 150-foot rule,
Right.
but I thought it was 150 foot to the property, not 150 feet to the
it
house.
says the house right here.
Because,
To the house.
The house.
well, that makes,
Within 150 feet of a building containing plumbing facilities.
Main is too, you gotta remember, you're measuring for the main. Now, if you look in the book, which I'll do a little research for you,
Thank you.
that there is a book that has every hookup that was done in this village.
We have maps, right, Chris?
You also could have the Department of Health, which really regulates the septic tanks, if the septic tanks are failing, the Department of Health can claim that they want them full, in which case you tell them they have to hook up to a public sewer, and then you have the same issue. So you ought to make clear what you're going to do in those situations.
when it was up behind the house, it was within 150 feet.
But it's.
So I'm gonna start calling tomorrow,
It's a
and,
public sewer.
I'll let Will know tomorrow. Have them.
yeah, we have to find out, we have to find out about the law. if there was anything to that.
You might have access to the motion.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, okay. Thank you.
15?
Yes, good.
Okay, updates, 4B, sewage treatment plant, conference call, financial advisor, and attorney, trustee DeVinco.
Yeah, well, I think we answered some of that already because we're going to have that conference call, looks like on May 16th, so, yeah, okay. And so we might be going up there, we just don't know where the meeting is at this point, so, okay. And that was really the gist of question where we were with the meeting, because we still need to meet with, I believe we still need to be meeting with EFC and the bond council so we can work through that portion of everything, right? Because come September, all of those applications that we had to put in will expire, so just to keep us on the front edge of that, so, okay.
4C, FEMA property recreation.
Okay, the update on that, we have a conference call with the FEMA New York State reps on Friday, I think at 11 o'clock. And it's really just to go over more in depth of the recreation pieces of property that we want to use, which is the 3 lots again across the street from the middle school. Lots also on Cardinal Drive that were recently bought out, besides the ones that were bought out, I think, back in '07. So, and they're going to come on site because they also had some kind of an issue at their location where they lost some of the files and some of the data. So they need to pull our original files and make copies of all this information. So I'll keep you updated with that. And along with the placemaking things that's been going on recently, there's also a couple of high school students that have gotten involved and are also working on, we're basically combining forces now, working together on what the recreational purposes will be for those areas. So for an example, I'll just grab, across the street from the middle school, we're looking at a gazebo, make it a park setting with some benches, stuff that will be heavy duty because it is in a floodplain. So we just have to be aware of, the type of stuff we're putting in there. And part of the meeting that we're going to have with FEMA is also to discuss if there's a possibility of grading and leveling that out and getting dirt in there so we could plant grass seed and actually make it feel like a park and look like a park. For the Cardinal Drive area, there's been discussions with the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts asking if they'd be interested in using a portion of that approximate 10 to 12 acres for camping, hiking, whatever they would like to use it for, possibly a community garden, possibly a dog park type of a setup. So we have lots of different opportunities. We have actually an old tennis court there from one of the previous residents back who sold out in, I believe, again, '07. And I took a walk on it. The asphalt really isn't in bad shape. It could probably use a bit of cleaning. The driveway system is still in there. There's a place to probably park 4 or 5 cars. So if we can get that up and running, and if someone wants to play tennis, we've got a spot for somebody to play tennis. And to turn that into a little bit of a park, it would be the same thing with some picnic benches and things along those lines to, people just want to go out and do a little nature walk. And using part of the mood on the Cardinal Drive side is where we'd also create that takeoff and docking launching area for canoes and kayaks. So that's all in the mix right now. And I'll give you an update after our meeting with FEMA/New York State reps. Question?
Is anything being done with that hockey rink on Maple?
Currently, no, but I wanted to, not at this meeting, but propose to take a look at it, either get it refinished or get that crack repaired and see what would be viable and what really makes sense at the end of the day. Because I think it's a very good piece of asphalt, right? And it could be used for the folks that came down in October with that paddleball game, or kids just want to rollerblade or do whatever. It's still a good good usable piece of asphalt, and until we really come up with something.
Someone was there this weekend filling that crap.
Yeah?
I don't know what he was filling it in with.
We'll have to figure that one out. So, yeah, so I think we still want
Just got a little bit of oil in your head.
What about the bathrooms down
Well, that's another subject that needs to come up, because there's another initiative going on with the placemaking, and I'm working with another guy who's organizing music. We're gonna do music and band, music, which will include a band, live band, and towards the evening hour, about 8:30-ish, we're gonna do movies. And we're gonna run those from like beginning of June to like sometime in July, like 6-7 weeks. And I have the dates, but I don't have them with me because I didn't think we'd be talking about it. So at the next meeting, I'll bring that information out. But part of what we need to do is we need electric. We need electric. We have electric, but we need to extend it out to the ball field, like as we discussed earlier last year when we talked about doing the movie over there before we moved it to Woodfield. And those bathrooms need to be repaired and get them up and running so, number one, residents can use them as they need to. And when we have events there, we have usable bathrooms. And right now, they're just trashed at the moment, so we need to get that repaired. Thank you.
Can we move the roller rink, skateboard with the hockey rink?
Could we?
I know it could, but,
It's just a matter of moving the equipment and taking care of the tracks. That's something that,
as
Board wants to
you
change.
know, you're a coach, it's girls softball league.
Mhm.
And you know, as Chief Bogart knows, in the summer, he gets my voice every time when I call. Because we're getting all those teenagers that come on the skateboard over there with our young 14-year-old girls, and these guys are half naked and they're half in the campus. This past couple of days, when I was down there, concession stand, and he was, a few young men were coming over with no shirts on and the whole attitude. And I had two girls in the concession stand with me, and I told them, stop right there, so you gotta go back and put on your shirt.
Mhm.
And of course, I got the old fingers and a few and all that. So with that said,
Yeah,
We
well,
need to
one
get
thing I
that-
don't want to do
we
is
need to get
move
that
the problem, we
away
need to fix
from
the problem. Yeah, we don't want to move the problem, we want to fix the
no,
problem.
not.
We don't want to.
Yeah, that ain't gonna work.
And I didn't mean, the
Yeah.
problem,
Better lighting at the hockey
There's
rink.
actually
Right,
young kids
exactly.
who play at Ahern, so.
they're gonna be over there, they're gonna hesitate to be doing, they have just that skating area right there at the hockey rink, they're not gonna bother anybody.
Yeah.
Now they wanna go there and show off, and I live in that neighborhood, so you know what happens after dark. We find
We could get,
crack vials there, we find a lot of things.
All right, well, maybe we'll take some of this offline and the board will have to talk and get, and maybe the signage needs to get also on that, besides the do's and don'ts. There's probably nothing on there as far as at least fair warning that you gotta wear proper attire, no bare chest, that kind of thing, whatever you want to call it.
That would be illegal. That would be a violation of their civil rights. And actually, a woman could be topless, and as long as she's not doing any obscene
Right, I understand.
they can do it. You'd be violating their civil rights.
But
Even
I
as.
know they have.
Chief, if I go around topless and running around, I bet you someone's gonna call the cops on me.
Probably, but.
I might, if
I
you and
will.
I do it, I mean,
Right,
I think
exactly.
the village would fold. Because people like you and me should not go around without shirts on.
Is there any, yeah?
If I remember correctly, to use the hockey rink, you had to have helmets and everything else on. Skateboarding, you should have the same thing, so it's gonna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a great question. I will
Yeah.
notify the insurance company tomorrow. And if we need to go that route, which I'm sure we do, because it's a great point.
There is a
then
sign
we
up
have
there
to-
that
There is a sign that
Is there a
says that
sign
already.
Is it
Yeah.
visible?
Yes.
Is it,
helmets, knee pads, and.
I believe some of that
Elbow
equipment too
pads.
was also condemned by the insurance company.
okay, so I'll talk to them, so I will.
Well, they would've went out and did their little safety walk right through
Yeah,
that.
but they don't have the kids there.
No, I'm just talking about the equipment. I mean, when we bought the equipment, it was skateboard equipment, you know, I mean, you know, it's no different than you wanna put a, what do you call it, jumpy castle kind of thing on your lawn, and all of a sudden your insurance company catches wind of it and tells you they won't insure you.
And that, has that equipment been looked at, Chris? Certified by people who certify them?
That's Richard Goodblood here. Richard Goodblood, is that his name? With the insurance company, he was just here 2 months ago
That's
and
what I'm saying.
Marshall Sterling.
Marshall and Sterling.
He didn't say anything about that.
about it.
Good.
One,
Well, that's good.
one other question, Tom, I'm sorry, and this is outfield. What, on the library, when was it forecasted to be finished?
August,
Of this year? Not last year?
this
No,
year.
this year, I think they're gonna have a soft opening
Yeah.
in August, with
Okay.
the official opening being
So,
September.
we're still, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they're ahead of schedule, to be honest.
Yeah, I was at a chamber
what the
breakfast the
schedule
other
was.
morning, they said everything was moving along, they got sheetrock going up inside.
The clock will be fixed up top?
You sorry?
The clock up top will be fixed?
I hope so. I don't know why they didn't do that first, but
Spending all that money, it'd be a shame.
Mr.
not to
Lang,
have that
has,
clock.
you have any information?
Has anyone been here long enough to remember the bell in that clock tower?
no.
Remember the bell?
Years and years.
Do you remember when they took the bell out of there? Okay, and that was my question, because I was in contact with, what did I get on email, I guess? I was in contact with the historians over the library, over the water, how long and when and why and how. And when I finished off, I talked to Matthew Thorens. He's been at the library, he's a historian at the library. How long you been there? About 4 years. Anyway, he says, when we finished our first conversation, he says, the Friends of Moffett are, and we don't have anything to do with the library, the village board, but he said the Friends of Moffett were doing fundraisers to, reconstruct the clock tower. And I hung up the phone and I said, we spent $6 million, and it wasn't included? So I called him, when I talked to him today, I said, listen, Matthew, when we finished our last conversation, you said that they were collecting funds to refurbish the clock tower. So he just sent me an email back tonight, and he was going to contact the director, Carol McCrossan. He says, the clock tower restoration is part of the building project, if you have any further questions. So I'm happy that in that $9 million, they're going to do the clock tower. But I haven't seen them start touching it. I was waiting to see scaffolding go up, and then I started looking for the bell.
And I thought they would have done that prior to
Before,
doing the
right?
roof,
Yeah,
before you do the roof.
before you do
It's
the
the
roof.
highest point, but
Maybe they
who
can do
knows?
it from inside.
They do it from inside.
I don't know.
Yeah?
I really didn't want to climb the steps to ring the bell, so.
But the structure itself and the painting and all the stuff that needs to be done externally, I get the internal part of the clock, but the outside, to me, like I said, I don't know how the project's
Probably
going.
got to pressure
It
wash
doesn't-
it, and all that paint's gonna come down.
It made a lot of sense.
Yeah,
It's like trying to do your chimney in your house and do your roof first and then come into the cement.
Collect money.
4D, water operator certification training class.
Yes. Yeah, there's some information in your packet just regarding, and I brought this up a while back, and I know there's been discussions with Artie and Chris and Al for their certifications. I just wanted to let the board know that I came across this operator certification program that's offered, and that the training to get them to be their grade, well, what do you want to call it, grade B to 2, right? 2B, operator licensing, that there is a class coming up at in November. And I guess wanted to throw out there for the board's conversation. We've got a lot of time to do this, but I think we were discussing the point of either a class or trying to do this thing offline and as we go, or weekends, and have these guys study. You know, and try to get to this point. I'm not sure personally if that is the better way of going, or just offer the class, send the guys to class so that they can bang it out and get their certification and really be then done, versus trying to do this thing in the evenings or weekends and home study programs. And a lot of this stuff I understand as well is that needs to be done by certified teachers, etc. So, you know, obviously don't need a decision today, but it was really more information in what direction maybe we want to go in, so that we can get these guys trained and get them their licensing and move on from there. Because right now it's Artie, he's the only gentleman who's got it. If he goes on vacation or whatever happens, God forbid anything happens to him, we're going to be with no 2B operator who has the classification to operate our water system. And again, the whole long lake, I'm sorry?
Are the classes during the week?
Yes, yes.
Well, what sense does that make? We're already short.
We'll worry about that when you get to it. This is the winter time. I'd ask you a question right now, but if you were taking a class, how much have you gone? How much have you done?
How much
I'm just talking hypothetically, if you were taking a class, and I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but how much work have we done to get the guys certified to that license? Since we're in May.
First of all, I have no interest in doing.
No, I'm just talking hypothetically, Chris. I'm not saying. My point is to get there directly and get the training in and get it done.
I agree.
Bite
They
the
should go to
bullet
the class, but
and
we keep
bite
saying
the
every
bullet.
meeting, DPW is short, we can't get anything done. But now we're gonna send 2 guys to class during the day. Don't make sense.
Is it actually during the day? When I took it at night from like 6 to 9 up in New Paltz. The number of, so is it actually during the day or is it after work?
This is a go away.
In the evening.
They would go to the location and get the training.
We say, well, when? During at night or during the day?
No, it's day. It's full time.
Well, it's sponsored by various schools, Hudson Valley Community College, SUNY Morrisville, Southern New
Right.
York, which is down in Long Island, Westchester Community College, Western New York.
They've got them all, right, they've got them all over. But again, thinking about that we are short, and we can't lose the people during the summertime, November or December or the winter months would be the more appropriate time to do it, if we want to do it. You know? So, there's no perfect solution right now because we don't have all the guys, but at the end of the day, this is something that we've been working towards since the old administration, so
And
it's
what if
something that needs to
something,
happen.
God forbid, did happen, Artie, what happens then? You have to get someone trained anyways.
We have to get an engineer and get them trained,
Right, so, I mean,
bite the bullet and get it done.
Artie probably knows, what's the level required and how long is the training required for a municipal water system?
2B?
Which is what, half MGD or what?
On 3 MG.
Pardon me?
3.
You're training for 3 MD.
Yeah.
But we don't do MGD, water system is like, at most, 3/4.
It goes by population.
Pardon me?
Goes by population.
Yeah, I know, I mean, well, how much training is required, that's the question I'm asking.
The certification is a 1-week certification,
For 1 week.
1 week.
Are you
You
certified
take a
to
test.
teach?
What's
Are
that?
you certified to teach the class?
No.
No.
You have to go, the easiest way to do it is send a guy away, so he's in a classroom setting, and he can learn, I mean, to do it on a computer.
Learn off other guys.
And in doing your job, I mean, I went away, I went to Orange County, then I went to New Paltz. When I did my sewer, I went up to Syracuse. You know, but once again, Orange County had it, and you did it 3 nights a week for, I think it was 6 or 8 weeks. Some ridiculous
Yeah,
time.
City New Paltz was like 6 weeks, I think.
Yeah, I went to New
One
Paltz.
night, so basically you're looking at 24 hours. That was Middle back in the,
Okay,
so
so,
down.
so we need to get more information. Okay, 4F. I'm sorry, 4G. Stormwater drainage.
So the drainage issue that we have over on Nicole Street and 94, the 4 or 5 homes that run in the easterly direction, we have, Because of the project that's going on behind in the, and I always forget the name of the place, the perfume. What's it called? Oro Chemical. So Oro Chemical is planning to do an addition to his building. And because of the way the drainage is and what he did to the back of Old Richie's auto, that building is going to be coming down, and he's going to build another building on that property. In order for him to take care of the drainage, the planning board and the attorneys are talking to them to take care of some of the drainage problems that are occurring on the rail bed that runs from basically his building location and runs to Locust. So they're working with that company to get their contractor to basically take care of the drainage issues that's going on. Because right now, again, we have a bunch of water piling up behind all those properties because we have an address of 109. They filled in the berm, it prevented the water from flowing. So they're going to be taking care of that berm issue on that property. And then there's a pipe that runs underneath, and right now the elevations are all whacked out. The water isn't flowing correctly into the easement. So the contractor who's working on that new building for Aurora is proposed right now, unless something changes, that I've been told by our engineer, that contractor will take care of the drainage issues, and hopefully that will resolve the ponding and everything else that's going on behind their homes when it rains heavily. The last rain, it was like a lake back there. So that hopefully will take care of it. We tried to, if you remember, we tried to look at putting drainage in Nicole Street. We were going to put in a catch basin, run a pipe across the street and connect to a drain pipe that runs into basically the easement that runs behind the firehouse, which runs eventually into the Muda. But that was prohibited because in Nicole, where we needed to, at the same elevation, is a gas main and a water main. So we couldn't go around them, can't go over them. It would be a nightmare, and it would be a very bad situation. So we went to option B, and that'll be the end of that. Once the building commencement starts, they'll take care of the drainage issue. That's it for that.
Okay. Frontier Communications?
Yeah, we've been talking about that, and we changed gears with attorneys. So our new attorney, we gave him the Frontier franchise maybe 2 weeks ago now, and just emailed him today for a status, and he said he would have to get back to us. So I'm assuming he's reviewing it, and we'll have an answer hopefully soon, so we can set up basically the public hearing, and Frontier would come in and do their little dog and pony show, and we could then vote for the public hearing, and then eventually a vote to accept Frontier into our village.
So that would give us cable, Spectrum, and Frontier to choose from.
Correct. And besides DirecTV or anybody else we can use.
Yeah, I just want to indicate Frontier, right, depending on which way you look at it, we're like the top of the worst customer service in the country, or at the bottom of the worst customer service in the country. Washingtonville used to have a cable franchise commission, and probably would save you a lot of the complaints. We had a lot, I was on it, Bob Johnson was on it, we had a lot of complaints, like from Cablevision. Cablevision used to call at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, hey, you want, talk to a kid, you want Walt Disney Channel, yes, and then suddenly people were coming in with $10 on their bills, $10 extra on their bills and so forth. So you'll probably get a lot of complaints with Frontier. I mean, yeah, you'll have competition, but you might want to think about having a cable franchise, so complaints would go to them initially, and then it can be passed on to you if you need to.
Tom, if the village board approves this, the Frontier, that require them trenching again throughout all the developments to lay new cable?
They haven't mentioned anything like that. What they talked about was upgrading their current COs with the equipment that would give them the signal to do what they needed to do. And they weren't going to be doing that until, obviously, the franchise was done. The way they described it, they were going to use the pair of wires that have always been coming into the house.
And that's my point is, again, I work for Verizon, I do this for a living. Now is the time to push them to the fire, upgrade to a fiber network, because they have bought states within Verizon, they do own Fios now. I think they call it Firehouse. And now is the time to upgrade the village.
Who owns Firehouse?
It's the Frontier bought properties within Verizon. Those properties had Fios within them. They named it, I think, Firehouse in upstate New York. I think that's what they call it. But it is basically Fios, which is fiber to the house.
I think they said they were gonna do fiber optics up to the house when you were here.
Frontier?
At their presentation, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I don't
now
remember
is,
that, but-
now is your big opportunity to hold them to the fire if you want to upgrade here.
Yeah.
And
Does
also
that
get
include,
something for the village hall.
does that
That's definitely.
require retrenching wires to answer Mr. Bond?
depends on the
That's one of the
kind.
questions I have. We don't need any more trenches.
No, in some cases within Verizon, what the company did was send out letters that your service will no longer be provided on copper. We removed the copper, brought the fiber into the same trench, through the same
But
conduit.
they have to go through other people's property to get to that person that wants it, right?
In some cases, yes or no. It all
This guy's on the
depends on.
corner,
Right.
so just the corner homes are gonna have that.
Right, because right now, basically, you have, like, for instance, over by Ahern, and 94 there, by the hockey rink, you have a box. That's your main hub. Then all the copper goes out to the thing. So what they do is, as they pull the copper out, they're pulling fiber in some cases, and that would be your hub for your file server. Because it basically works the same way. And this might be the easiest village in the world to do, to be honest with you.
That's what they all say, until they get started. Thanks.
I'm here if you need background.
Okay, new business, discussion, purchase and installation.
Yes.
Trustee Galora.
Sure. As we were talking before about a new website and some other possible new things, I think the other thing that we're severely lacking, as Tom can attest to right there, that's not our projector. We had to borrow that projector for this evening. We're looking into obtaining a sound system, meaning microphones for all the trustees, and as well as a microphone out here so the public can speak at it. A permanent LCD projector mounted in the ceiling with a screen that will be pulled down, so that way whenever there's a presentation, it's here for everybody. As well as, again, the sound system with speakers, so everybody can hear everybody speak, especially sometimes it gets a little loud and it's difficult to speak. I know I was having trouble listening to the conference call before. I couldn't make out half the things that the woman was saying. So we're looking into that, as well as also the camera, which has actually been ordered. This is the same thing that Mayor Bucko was doing previously. They borrowed cameras, they borrowed equipment, and as a village, I think that's ridiculous that we have to borrow a camera every time we have a meeting, especially if we're going to go to live feeds, hopefully in the future. We would like to have our own equipment to use that. As well as the other thing we were going to discuss, and I've gotten various prices on this, besides this, the microphones, the speakers, the LCD projectors, pull-down screens. We also wanted to get Chromebooks for the trustees as well. In today's day and age with communicating, and Chromebooks are relatively inexpensive compared to other computers, it'd be a lot easier to have everyone having a Chromebook. We could also tap into the screens so that way when we're discussing something, the audience can see it a lot better. And it's a lot better to see visual than just describe something, but you can put it right on the screen, especially when we get to the zoning aspect. There's going to be a lot of visuals involved with the zoning, so I think it would be good to behoove everyone involved to do that. So I'm in the process of finalizing all the bids. I'm going to present it to the board shortly. Also, luckily, at the Easter Bonnet Parade, we spoke to the gentleman who owns Metro Sound Pros. He thinks he can help us out with a lot of the equipment, which is going to substantially reduce the cost to the village. He's a very nice gentleman. He wants to get involved, and we're going to discuss it with him further. That was it.
We did purchase the camera.
Yes, the camera and
Not
the
that
tripod,
particular.
no. That's my son's.
New camera and tripod should be here tomorrow.
Yes.
They said tomorrow. Okay, that's it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Resolution for budget transfer engineer invoices. I received several phone calls from H2M, the engineers that did the plans, saw the plans through the bidding process. I'm reading from a memo sent on the 17th of March. The oldest bills date back to 9/28/16, it's 170 days old, requested 100% payment for the design phase of the project. The original design fee was $530,000, and we were paid up to 92%, or $488,250 of the project, and then the payment stopped from the village. I still have never been given a clear answer why, after 92% of the village suddenly did not have the funds to pay us the balance of the original project. And this has not been resolved after a 5.5 month period. So the invoices date back, like I said, to, well, there's three of them. One of them dates back to September of 28th, 2016, for a total of $20,750. And one dates back to January 10th of this year, 2017, for $39,600. And the newest invoice dated February 22nd, 2017, for $10,500. Now, Trustee D'Amico, you had some questions on the last invoice, correct?
Yes, that was the invoice that I think came in on December 9th of 2016. And that he was looking for the $39,100. Correct.
What questions?
So the questions I raised is on that memo, or on that letter, he talks about the administrative belt and filter press roof. When you go back, from the documentation I shot off to you guys, I believe it was on the 2014 letter, there was information in that letter that pertains to administrative belt and building press roof system. So I feel that we had already paid for that on the September 4th, 2014 invoice, or agreement that they did, and that was for $105,000. So again, I feel that that particular bulleted item, for some reason, again, he was asking for it in 2016. I feel that that was already covered and paid for in the 2014 $105,000 proposal. And that was for the preparation of the facilities plan.
Okay, so his invoice date is September 28th for $20,750. Is that included?
That one, that I'm not sure of.
Okay.
That I need to take a look at. Because it's really the 2016 is what I'm really looking at the moment.
Now, are you sure it's $105,000, or is it $10,500?
No,
Because that matches up to the February 22nd.
this 2014 memo, this was the initial proposal for professional engineering services for the sewer plant. And so he goes on, based on his conversation with Trustee Galante and the engineers on September 2nd, 2014, that they were putting together this proposal, right? And they included the breakdown for a fee of $105,000. And then he goes on to say the next phase of the consent order requires an engineering consultant to prepare a facility plan for the upgrade expansion of the STP. The facility plan includes the engineering design report, which evaluates the existing treatment processes and treatment technology options for STP. And then he breaks it out. And I can't quite understand, based on the initial plan, when it should have been incorporated in this plan, why he's rebilling us again in 2016 for something that really should have been covered in the preparation of facilities plan back in 14? That's my question.
Have you spoken with him?
No.
So that was my question, if you ever one-on-one spoke to him about these questions.
No, I haven't. No, I brought it, at the time, I brought it up to Dave, and then it went into limbo in between the elections and everything else.
So we need to set up a meeting then with George. I know he's not available this week,
Okay.
but what days are you available so we can get this thing? I'm sure he'll be available anytime
Next week?
next week.
I think your real issue is, does this contract cover the oversight of the construction, of the design of the sewer plant? Is that part of the contract, and is that contained within the actual scope of work? Or are you gonna have to pay extra for H2M to oversee the construction of the sewer plant?
You know,
His design.
it's two different things, I believe, but when you have an invoice that's dated September 28th of 2016, and we're being asked right now for the money, and
Why not?
we're just going to keep postponing him, okay, that's wrong on the village's part, okay, that's a sign of bad business, okay, I believe that he did, and I'm not debating what you're saying now, but I still think it's $10,500, but it could be mistaken. It's bad business on our part. You know, this is the engineer that is going to be working with us.
Right.
With the,
And you gotta keep that in mind, because you gotta oversee it, or else you're gonna have to get another engineering firm.
we're not, not at these prices, we're not.
Well, somebody's got to oversee the
We
construction.
just can't afford to spend another $530,000, okay, on design, on plans. We can't afford to spend $100,000 on plans.
I'm talking about the oversight when the plans are put into effect, and you're gonna be that's something you ought to keep in mind when you go to the DEC too.
Well, yeah, he had put in his proposal, I think the number was in the neighborhood of 325,000
For oversight.
for oversight, and
Which
then
is
I believe
separate
there
from
was
this,
another 250, which was for administrative. So you're back at another $500,000. At the end of the day, we're 1.2, 1.3 just on engineering, which is out of sight.
Engineering should be more than 10%.
Exactly.
Tom, in regard to what Terry was talking about, my suggestion is reach out to the engineer, tell him to pinpoint these fees to the contract. Specifically, when the contract is this fee applicable? Do you understand what I'm talking about?
Oh, absolutely.
Otherwise, it's just going to be back and forth, and
No, I get
you
it.
go with the signed documentation.
Listen, it has gone back and forth because the transition teams and everything else, and I raised it to him a while back. Dave had a conversation with him, there were questions, and it just it laid low, unfortunately. But we're at this point, and yeah, we do need to address it with him.
And you're under consent decree too, so time is of the essence.
Well, I'm going to schedule a meeting with George Monday, Tuesday next week, so we can sit down and iron this thing out and make a budget transfer at that time. Okay, so I will ask for permission to make that transfer when needed and for how much. Okay, so do we want to make that resolution to make a transfer of the first two payments that totals $60,350.
Have we seen those
So-
invoices for what specifically he's discussing?
We received them.
Yeah, I'd like to, that's what started this, because
Okay.
when we got it, it didn't make
Wait a
any
minute,
sense.
I'm not going to write a check.
Yeah, no,
I just want to put the money in the proper
listen, if
account.
it's due, I'm fine. I just saw something and it just caught my eye,
I appreciate
and
that, yep. I'm
I
good.
figured, you know what,
And that would only be for the first two invoices, invoice 117106 and invoice 122264, totaling $60,350. Make a resolution, transfer it into, do that now. No check is going to be written out until we have exactly what this money is being, to answer Tom's questions.
Can we also, when George comes down, discuss all three of them
Absolutely, yeah.
in detail?
Yeah, we should, absolutely, because I'm not too familiar with the other two that he's talking about.
I just don't want it to, like a meeting next week and then say to him, okay, next week.
Right.
Next week's the regular meeting. You know what I mean, so.
So you want, which invoices, is 11017?
Yeah, totaling $20,750 on one and $39,600 on the second one. And that's totaling $60,350. Did my math correct?
Yeah, if we could get the, obviously the invoices, those two invoices, actually probably all three, and see how they might tie back to any of these numbers.
But let's understand that no checks are being cut until we are fully, till we fully understand the meeting that Tom and I will have, because it has to do with the consent order. But if we have to call a special meeting, we'll call a special meeting, okay, for that. So if I could have a roll call.
You know what fund you're putting in? Who you're transferring from and to?
What's that? Yeah.
We don't know the account. I mean, is there, you okay with them just holding it then, or?
Well, we can make a transfer that day then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as we have the numbers, without the numbers.
But as long as we have, we're not going to make a resolution, well, make the resolution, we don't know where the money's going to, what account it's going to go into. But it can be transferred that day, and a check could be cut, if needed, a check could be cut to H2M.
But once we have this meeting to finalize the
Absolutely,
proposal, we're all
yes.
gonna know and see the details.
Yes, yes. All right, and I will look to make that meeting on Tuesday then, so Monday we could get feedback from him, from George, and I'll get it out to him.
So to elaborate on what Henry said, I'm PE myself, I've been through these. It might be worthwhile, given the complexity on this, that you assign one trustee and you form H2M, that that trustee, yourself or somebody else, is the conduit through which all questions come, because you don't want, 4 or 5 talking, it's going to get more confusing. And that's what happened with the last board, believe me, I know.
Yeah, it's gonna be
You want somebody to be able to say,
myself.
this is what we're going to do, blah, 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 I'll get the board to agree, or something like that. You can't go to A, B, C, and D.
Okay. So where do we stand? This is.
I'll second the motion.
I guess
Second,
we're-
okay. We are making a motion.
Motion, we have a budget transfer of $60,350 for
When the time,
H2M engineering invoices when the
Charges are.
But you need the account numbers too, so without the account numbers.
I got the invoice numbers.
No, he means the account.
But the account
Oh,
number
I
as far
see.
as
It's coming to-
from
Yeah,
a
where it's
accounting
going from.
standpoint, is we gotta find out where Bridget has the money
okay, so
basically in the bank,
let's,
where it needs to go.
let's table this thing.
Yeah, we'll do a special
Okay.
meeting.
Yeah, we'll do a special meeting. Let's schedule a special meeting now for Tuesday night, next week, which is May
6, 7, 8, 9,
May 9th.
May 9.
That's zoning.
Right, so
Wanna do before the
we
zoning?
could start at 6 o'clock,
Right.
okay? So May 9th, next Tuesday at 6 o'clock, special meeting regarding this
Transfer.
transfer. Okay?
Wait, that's what, Tuesday? Or is it
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday the 9th,
They do Monday.
Oh, Monday.
6 o'clock.
Okay, everyone good? Okay. Comprehensive plan applicant reviews. I know we have 3 proposals.
I handed in 2. I don't know if anybody.
I gave one each of,
Okay. That was the third one?
yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
Sure.
I'm double checking the meeting. We actually had moved up the zone to 6. We actually would have started at 6. We wanted to move it up early so we have more time to discuss it.
Okay. 5:30?
You should be.
Yeah. 5:30 for this. My timekeeper. 5:30 meeting, okay? Special meeting on Tuesday, we're still on Tuesday, right? Okay.
Check it.
2017, right? As long as it happens this year, we're good. Okay, I have 2 copies here. I'm sorry. We will be reviewing them, Nelson Pope and Voorhees. Do you know where they're at of? Yes, I do. Okay. Corporate office is Melville, Long Island. Hudson Valley office is right in Suffering. We have one from Rock Hill, New York, and that's Planet.
Yep.
Planet Main Street. And a planner out of Pennsylvania who worked on, I haven't seen the work of these 2, but I'm going to just mention it. If you have time and you are next to a computer, you can go on to Lidditz, Pennsylvania. That's where this person, Tom Comita, is from. He came up here at the Easter egg hunt. I think he's in every picture that people took. He's like Waldo, and just kept appearing. And Lidditz, Pennsylvania has been voted best little town 2 years in a row in the country. So this gentleman has a lot to do with it. But it's something that the board will dissect the proposals and hopefully get on after we really know where we're going with the zoning, because the faster we bring these in, the faster the costs rise. So we really want to be careful on how much we have to spend on this. So more at the next regular meeting. Application, training, water, sewer billing, and financial applications, 5D.
Yeah, we talked about this several months ago, and I guess now, and you guys were at the meeting, but just to, if we can either make a decision on this, I feel it's vital that our staff internally has organized training from the company itself, so that we learn all the bells and whistles and the things you can do with these applications. Just asking questions of the staff, some of them have never had any training directly with the software company. It's been really more knowledge transfer for me, water billing, and our financials, AP, GL, all of it. And I think in order for us to protect ourselves and train as many people as we can, and it wouldn't be a bad idea if we had, a high-level overview of the applications, so that we could eventually get logins into these systems, and we don't have to have staff to run us a report. We just have view-only type of access. We don't want to go in there and change codes or have any of that responsibility. But, for staff, I think it's vital for them to know everything about the application that they really haven't been taught. I mean, we've had these applications a long time, but staff turnover has created this situation. And I think for both of those, water billing and the financial side of the house, that really needs to happen. Because if we, God forbid, someone gets sick or long-term issues or whatever, we're going to be holding the bag because no one's going to really understand how to do it. So that's my case.
So how would that be done?
Well, we could find out what, number one, what it would cost, and if, obviously, it would be least expensive if it was done remotely, similar to what we did here, and they go through some training, or, again, bringing them on site would obviously be a little bit more expensive, but I think that training sometimes is more valuable because you got to pay attention, and you probably get more done in 8 hours than you would doing a WebEx an hour a day for 3 or 4 days. And you're able to ask the questions directly. I think it's just better impact.
The water billing program, how much training did you get in the water billing program? All right, so,
That's my point.
but I'm saying, are we paying for that program?
Yeah.
Okay, why are we paying for training? That guy should be down
Well,
here. That guy should be down here, if we're paying for the program, then we should be getting the training from that guy.
Well, what we need to do is yank the contracts and see what's in the contracts. But generally speaking, when you buy something, you get the initial training, everybody gets it. But if there's another, unless in our contract it says perpetual training for anybody new comes along,
We have to look.
if not, then you're gonna be paying for every time that person, you know, for Chris, he's stumbling through, for an example, right? I'm not saying you are, but I'm saying the new person, you know, is working it the best he can, working his way through it.
Yeah, I agree,
So,
but I
at the
think
end of the day.
Initially, if he didn't train anyone in it,
No, people were trained initially when we got the software, but they're no longer here. So if Diane wanted to know how it was going on, Chris would show her. This is how you log in, this is what you do, you want to run a report, this is how you enter in the money, this is how you do this. So we might be only, you know, you got an application, we might only know this much. And we're just burning time. It's another time over
Did
matter.
you get any training, Chris?
On the water sewer, that wasn't my function. my job.
Nobody knows.
That's my,
It's a secret.
Well, the gentleman, the vendor is from Minnesota, so they're not gonna come here, you're gonna pay an arm and a leg for them to come here. They don't come, they do WebEx of
Water
Minnesota.
programs from Minnesota.
They are only a phone call away. I just call them and ask if I have a question, and I get 3 guys to choose from, and
I've never had a problem calling, I get the
there's
person
even,
right away
there's
too.
even
so
directions
they
on the website where
Friendly.
you can read to show how to do things.
Okay, that's,
food for thought, I mean,
Yeah.
just because.
It's a good one.
okay, resolution, Woodfield Park dumpster.
It's a good thought.
I know I've been in contact with the IWS, the International Waste Service, I guess. Interstate Waste Service. And I've asked for the dumpster to be moved from the village hall here to Woodfield. We walked out by Cohen's Friday because they were going to come Friday. It didn't happen. The dumpster at Woodfield would have a lock on it. The keys would be given to Little League, so we don't find any couches in there the next day. People see dumpsters and they clean out their house. So this has here, Tom, from August 31st,
Yeah.
a price of $60.89. It's the only thing, only guess, and we need to get more information on this as far as that's concerned. It's just going to be a dumpster with a lock on it. And the dumpster is going to be removed from here.
It's already there.
It's already there.
Yeah, it's
There
there.
you go. Where's the keys?
There is no lock on it.
Because there's no keys.
That's
That's why I
probably
didn't
why.
get the keys.
You're good.
Okay, nothing gets by
So
me.
no lot, huh?
Okay, so that's not the dumpster we ordered though, so we need to get one
And
with,
it's a plastic cover too, so I putting a lock on that, ain't gonna do no good.
well, I think it's a bar that comes down.
Yeah.
So, all right, I will call Interstate.
Okay. The reason I brought this back onto the agenda was just for the recycling. There is a ton of plastic, and I'm just a recycling nut. Hopefully everybody.
Well, in
like-
fairness to our DPW, we just can't throw stuff, we can't allow stuff to just be thrown where they feel it should wind up. We have a refrigerator up there that is, I don't know if that was removed, was that still there? Okay. There is bulk cleanup. I wouldn't want bulk cleanup on a curb forever. So I'm going, if you could call them tomorrow and have them put the refrigerator back into the building so people aren't,
Is that Little League's refrigerator?
yes, okay.
And it's dead? You don't know? I'll find out.
All right, so, you know, we have to maintain our own property. The people who are using it have to maintain it.
Okay. So the point again to put these on was just really to get possibly a recycling dumpster besides the trash dumpster. But I'll ask IWS if they commingle all their stuff and when it goes out, because it all gets separated through the process.
So you want to take care of that?
I'll take care of that, and I'll find out what's up with the fridge.
Hey, Tom, they have dual compartment, one-yard dumpsters, that's recyclable and
They split the
they can
dumpster?
split it, yes.
All right, but tomorrow, if you have ways of calling the softball president, ask him to put the refrigerator back inside.
I will take care of that for you,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you.
You got that?
Um,
Get it back.
NICOM conference registration, May 7th through 9th. I know I'm going up on May 7th, that's a Sunday. I'm coming home that night, I don't like to sleep away. It's like sleepaway camp. Bad experience many years ago.
That explains everything.
I'm not going there.
Kill the camera.
No, it's a football camp.
I was just gonna say, I think it involved my son.
It was a football camp, and it was like, I would wake up in the middle of the night saying, why did I coach football?
Like when the master was in the shower.
So, you can forward the information, you guys want to come up just for the day, I think it was $185 ticket. Okay.
Did you register everybody?
I'd like to hear from everybody.
Okay.
Nobody got, unless we got back to Bridget. She does that.
Okay. We'll go out there on the registration. Fishing derby, Black Rock.
Yes, I'm trying to get the date, and I apologize, I don't have the exact date, but I know it's towards the middle of, or the third week of May. I mentioned this at the last meeting, and basically they open up the Black Rock to all the kids who want to come up, just bring a fishing pole, they stock the river and the whatever else, and the kids spend a nice day, you know, fishing. So if there's anybody who's interested in that, let me know, or I will definitely have the info. And I also want to talk about maybe the CQI messages you mentioned, using that for, I'm trying to remember what that was earlier. But I was thinking about the Kiwanis breakfast, my birthday, and
I think it was for the parade.
parade, right, for the Memorial Day parade. And that we'd be able to maybe do it for the Kiwanis breakfast. And if the board is all in agreement that we can start using this thing as more of a, somewhat of a promotional tool versus just a disaster tool, to let people know what's going on. There is so much going on, but just to let the good stuff, you know? So I mean, I'll get that date and we'll put it on the website. And maybe we'll use the CQI to get that out.
Okay, resolution, green area conveyance. Resolution of the Village Board of the Village of Washingtonville authorizing the conveyance of real property. Whereas a certain parcel of land known as 2 Newcastle Drive within the Village of Washingtonville, identified as Section 115, Block 2, Section 8.1, is owned by Michelle Goulart. And whereas there is a strip of land on Newcastle Drive known as Green Area 5, owned by the village, a portion of which adjoins the Gore property, which has been historically utilized by the aforesaid property owner, who was under the impression that Green Area 5 was part of her lands. And whereas a recent title search has confirmed that Green Area 5 is presently owned by the village, despite the fact that Mrs. Gore has been paying all applicable real property taxes and assessments associated with the portion of Green Area 5 adjoining her property since the time that she became record owner of a parcel in 1993. Whereas Mrs. Gore has requested that the village convey to her the portion of Green Area 5 that adjoins her property for $1, and the village is willing to do so, provided that Ms. Gore reimburses the village for all expenses associated with the conveyance, and also grants an easement to the village for maintenance, repair, and replacement of any village facilities located within Green Area 5. Now therefore, it is hereby resolved, the Village Board of Trustees agrees to convey that portion of Green Area 5, which adjoins tax map number 115-2-8.1 to Michelle Gore for $1, reserving the easement for maintenance, repair, replacement of any village facilities within Green Area 5. And upon payment, Mrs. Gore of all expenses associated with said conveyance, inclusive of the legal fees incurred by the village, the mayor, or his designee, is authorized to execute all documents necessary to effectuate the conveyance of this subject parcel, subject to approval of the form and content of said documents by the village attorney. By the order of the village trustee of the Village of Washingtonville dated May 1st, 2017. So we just need to change that. This is a piece of property we spoke about last time. Chris, I know that you were involved in there, that we will have access to what we need to have access to. You satisfied with that, right?
Isn't that the property behind you?
No, it's the property behind Blanchette. Mark?
No.
I'm sorry, wrong.
Right across from you, Artie.
Yeah, the new house, the new house, so you're right, Huey's house, right?
Huey's house.
Yeah, you're right.
And Huey got that from the village. Because he applied for that and was given to him.
Well, according to the title, it's not his
It's
property,
still
but
not-
yet he's been paying tax on it. This is the second house. It used to be Rieger's sales
The
office.
sales office, yeah, because when Diobertus got that little section, that had to be agreed upon by the person behind him, that when they did it, that they split it in half,
Yeah.
and she never got it legally done. But he
But she's been paying tax.
She's been paying tax on
I don't see that to be odd.
it.
What's going on around here, I think that's
I think you might want to check somewhere, because I know when Huey did that, that was the agreement that they had, that both neighbors behind each other had to do it at the same time.
Well, that's what we always wanted to do, right? Because they wanted to divide it equally, if that's the way people, the neighbors were gonna share it.
Right.
Like we did with Frankel and his neighbors. So if it was a square, everybody got a quarter, unless they denied it, and whoever wanted it would be able to take it over.
And with that,
But interesting on the tax map, though, when I looked at it, the easement shows both property lines and the easement in the middle. So it doesn't show Huey's property extending into the center of it.
because it was a separate parcel.
Yeah, but that should show on the tax map, that property line's now been shifted to the middle of the easement.
But I
So-
remember when it was done.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird.
So I'd like to.
It was, supposedly, it was, originally, when we first gave it to the attorney, gave it to Will, the property was conveyed to the homeowner. Somewhere around 1992, 93, went back to the village. The title company, when they did the sale, said that it belonged to the homeowner, belonged to the village. She continued to pay taxes on it, and now the title search now adjusted it where it's split down the middle at green area. So I'll make a motion that we convey that portion of the green area.
Second.
Okay, let's do a roll call. Trustee Goulart,
Yes.
trustee DeVinco,
Yes.
trustee Lang,
Yes.
trustee Mack.
Yes.
Okay, so 5-0.
Is that resolution number 1 for the year?
I believe so, yeah. Right? We just have to figure where we want that $1. What account we want to put it. Maybe we could put it into the sewer fund, this way we're only taking out $60,349.
You did it, chief.
Okay, any concerns that
Joe, real quick, I had brought up at the last meeting concern about getting a new sweeper. Unfortunately, Mr. Galante jumped up before I could continue my thing. This is a lease purchase arrangement we're speaking of, correct?
The new sweep is a grant
It's a, how are you going, it's being paid for by
by the state of New York.
the state, so there's no outlay of cash by.
No. If there's an outlay, it's going to be just
So,
upon delivery, and then we'll be...
so my question is, does the grant money come to the village and then the village disperses it?
No, grant money, all the money is being dispersed from the village, it comes back to the village.
We have to pay first, then we
You have
get
to
it
pay
back.
first.
Yes.
So I think you might still be compelled to comply with state bidding requirements, no matter what the source of funding is. If I'm not mistaken, you may want to check with your attorney, but I believe you still have to comply with state bidding requirements. So you may want to check into that so you don't get jammed up. My second question is regarding the sweeper, but Mr. Chris is on the phone. It'd be nice if we knew ahead of time when the sweeper's coming around, and this way people wouldn't leave their cars in the street and stuff like that, so either come up with a schedule or do the telephone thing, just to give people a heads up, which cars off the street, you know, please.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good idea.
Yeah.
The streets look good today. They're sweeping today.
Yeah.
Parking lot by the hockey rink, it looks good.
Thank you.
I'll say it. I don't think it passed.
What are you saving it for?
You'll get it later.
Anyone else? Okay, our next meeting is...
What day is it?
5:30, the special meeting.
5:30 Tuesday, special meeting, but our next regular meeting, you want to take a stab at this?
Regular? Yeah.
May 16th.
Yeah, but I want him to say it this way, I could say, why the 16th?
Yes, the 16th at 7.
May 16th at 7.
Why?
Hopefully, we'll have good news for you regarding the consent order and the DEC meeting that we would have earlier that day. Right now, we do have to go into executive session because something came up today that we need to discuss. For the public portion,
Make a motion, we go into executive session.
Second?
make a motion and we go into executive session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Too much to absorb.
I didn't bring it up, did I? Well.
I didn't even eat
No, because I probably told you. That's what it was.
And I never know what's it called, I just called it the storm. So what is, so my
That's the only thing I could do.
Another 3, another 2.
$499.99. How's that?